got so much motherfucking design on right now.
Behind the scenes tension, crew members reveal explosive fights between Lee Jun-ho and Yoona on set. What if I told you that behind the perfect smiles, the romantic chemistry, and the millions of fans swooning over their every scene, there was another story unfolding quietly behind the cameras? A story of tension, of unspoken words, of two megastars, Lee Jun-ho and Yoona, clashing not as lovers on screen, but as rivals on set. This is the story the cameras didn't show you. Hold on tight, K-drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The whispers begin. It started innocently enough. During the filming of their hit drama, staff members described the first few weeks as electric. Their chemistry was undeniable, natural, effortless, the kind that couldn't be faked. Directors called them a dream pairing. But as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the pressure. With every successful episode came new expectations, new headlines comparing their acting, their popularity, their fan bases. And quietly, something began to shift. A crew member from the lighting team recalled, they were professionals, always respectful. But after episode 6, the mood changed. There were moments when they'd finish a take and just walk off in opposite directions. No talking. No eye contact. At first, it seemed like fatigue, long hours, tight schedules. But insiders soon realized this was more than exhaustion. It was personal. The fight that changed everything. One night during a late shoot, a key emotional scene under the rain, tension reportedly reached its breaking point. According to one assistant director, the argument started over a single line. Jun-ho wanted to play the scene with more restraint. Yoona, ever the perfectionist, wanted raw emotion, tears, trembling hands, the full heartbreak. Their director tried to mediate. But the scene took over 20 takes. And then, the outburst. Fine. If you think you can do it better, then do it without me. Lee Jun-ho's voice, low but shaking with anger, echoed across the quiet street set. Yoona, caught off guard, froze. Crew members say she took a step back, trying to hold back tears. The silence that followed was thick enough to cut through. The director ended the shoot early that night. Yoona reportedly left set in her manager's car without saying a word. Jun-ho stayed behind, pacing, visibly frustrated. It was the first time anyone had ever seen them truly fall apart. Cold distance on camera. By the next day, both returned, calm, professional, smiling for the press cameras. But behind the scenes, insiders noticed an invisible wall. Between takes, they spoke less. Between interviews, they avoided eye contact. Even their once famous behind-the-scenes laughter, the giggles and teasing that fans loved, had vanished. A stylist described the change. We used to hear them joke all the time. But after that argument, it was quiet. Too quiet. You could feel something was broken. Rumors began to leak. Fans noticed subtle shifts, the way Yoona looked away during press photos, the way Jun-ho seemed unusually stiff in fan interviews. Soon, hashtags like #JunhoYoona tension started trending. The private apology. Weeks later, during a late-night reshoot, something unexpected happened. A crew member revealed that after hours, Jun-ho approached Yoona's trailer. He stood there for several minutes before knocking. When she opened the door, the staff nearby described a moment that felt like time stopped. No one heard what was said, but when Jun-ho left, his eyes were red, and Yoona quietly stepped outside, wiping tears from her face. The next morning, everything changed. Their performances in the following episodes were intense, too real, too raw, as if both were channeling something deeply personal. Fans noticed it too. Many said, you can feel the pain in their acting now. It doesn't look like acting anymore. What the crew finally admitted months after the drama wrapped, an anonymous producer confirmed what everyone had suspected. They fought because they cared. Both of them wanted perfection. Both carried the weight of expectation. What fans saw on screen, that deep emotional tension, was born out of something real. It wasn't hatred. It was frustration. Two artists giving everything they had, colliding under the pressure of fame and love stories too big for fiction. And yet, when the camera stopped rolling, they didn't part as enemies. In fact, sources claim Junho personally sent flowers to Yoona on the final day of filming, with a short note that simply read, "Thank you for teaching me what honesty looks like." She never spoke about it publicly. But those who know her say that when she read the note, she smiled, and whispered, "He finally gets it." The aftermath: when the drama aired its finale, viewers called it one of the most emotionally powerful endings of the year. But very few knew the truth, that what they were watching wasn't just performance. It was release. After the show, Yoona and Junho quietly went their separate ways. No social media followings, no public selfies, no reunion interviews. Just distance and silence. But every time fans rewatch that final scene, every glance, every pause, every tear feels heavier. Because now we know what it really was. Not just acting. Not just chemistry. But a story of two hearts under pressure, learning that sometimes, love and artistry burn too hot to coexist peacefully. The award show that changed everything. It was Seoul's biggest night, the annual Drama Excellence Awards, a glittering ceremony that brought together the industry's most powerful names. And that night, by some twist of destiny, Lee Junho and Yoona were both on the guest list. They were seated only 2 tables apart. The cameras, of course, knew exactly where to point. Every time Junho smiled, the red light of the lens flickered toward Yoona. Every time she clapped for another actor, the director cut to him, stoic, unreadable, but undeniably aware of her presence. And then, the announcement came. The Best Couple award goes to Lee Junho and Yoona. The crowd erupted. It was the reunion everyone had been waiting for, the moment the entire country secretly hoped would happen. Yoona froze. Junho exhaled, just once, before rising to his feet. As they walked toward the stage, the audience held its breath. Would they ignore each other? Would they speak? Would the tension finally crack under the weight of 1,000 flashing lights? A frozen smile, a hidden tear on stage, the applause was thunderous. They both stood side by side, accepting the trophy, but the silence between them was louder than the cheers. Yoona, ever the professional, smiled through it all. But up close, her eyes glistened with something else, something raw. Junho adjusted the microphone. His voice trembled, just slightly, as he began. "This award means more than people think. We went through a lot to make that story real, not just for the viewers, but for ourselves. So, thank you, to my partner, for being patient with me, even when I wasn't easy to work with." He didn't say her name. He didn't need to. The entire room knew exactly who he meant. Yoona's hand, gripping the trophy, trembled. She leaned in, her own voice calm but heavy with emotion. It wasn't always easy. But sometimes, the most difficult journeys create the most beautiful memories. "Thank you, Juno SSI, for everything." The audience erupted into applause. But those who watched closely saw it, the small tear that slipped down her cheek as she turned away from the mic. After the lights faded after the show, the after-party buzzed with energy. Producers toasted champagne, reporters whispered, and everyone waited to see if the 2 stars would cross paths again. They did. Not in front of the cameras. Not in the bright lights. But in a quiet corner of the hotel lobby, away from the noise and the champagne. A stylist who witnessed the moment described it softly. He walked toward her. She didn't move. They just stood there for a while, no words, just silence. Then, he smiled. A small, tired smile. She smiled back. And for a moment, they looked like old friends who had finally forgiven each other. No one knows what was said that night. But the next morning, fans noticed something strange online. Both of them, Lee Junho and Yoona, had quietly refollowed each other on social media. The fandom exploded. The hashtag June reunion hit 1 million posts within hours. And yet, neither of them commented. No statements. No interviews. Just that quiet, digital gesture that spoke volumes. One last message months later, Yoona appeared on a talk show, promoting a new project. When the host brought up her past work with Junho, the audience leaned in. Her answer was quiet. Thoughtful. Sometimes, people come into your life for a reason. They challenge you, frustrate you. But in the end, they help you grow. I'll always be grateful for that. She smiled, that familiar, graceful smile that hid more than it revealed. And somewhere across Seoul, Lee Junho reposted a short clip from their drama with a single caption, "We gave it everything." No names. No explanations. Just a moment of acknowledgement, from one soul to another. Epilogue, what the cameras never captured behind the tension. Behind the rumors. Behind the endless headlines and the speculation, there was something real. Two people who tried, failed, and grew. Who hurt each other, but still understood what they meant to one another. Because at the end of the day, every great partnership, on screen or off, leaves a mark. And even if they never worked together again, what Lee Junho and Yoona created on that set wasn't just a performance. It was a story of fire, forgiveness, and the thin, fragile line between love and art.